Once upon a time, in a small village, lived a tiny being named Whisper. Whisper was not a bird, not a bug, but a magical creature so tiny, he could only be seen with a heart full of love. Whisper lived in a tiny home, no bigger than a seed, hidden in the coziest corner of the village. He had a tiny garden outside, filled with the tiniest flowers and the most delicious berries. One day, Whisper noticed something unusual. His tiny garden was not as vibrant as usual. The flowers seemed to wilt, and the berries were not as sweet. Whisper felt a pang in his heart. He knew something was wrong. Whisper decided to investigate. He traveled through the village, asking the creatures he met along the way. "Has anything changed in our village?" he asked the birds, the bugs, and even the tiny flowers. But no one seemed to know what had happened. Whisper continued his journey, traversing the forest, the mountains, and even crossing the river. He asked every creature he met, but no one had an answer. Whisper felt a growing sense of worry. Finally, Whisper reached the outskirts of the village. He saw something that made his heart sink. The village was covered in a dark cloud. It was blocking the sun and causing the garden to wilt. Whisper knew he had to do something. He climbed up to the top of the highest mountain, looked at the dark cloud, and whispered, "Please, go away. Let our village be filled with light and love once more." To Whisper's surprise, the cloud began to shrink. It shrank and shrank until it was gone, and the sun shone brightly over the village once more. The flowers bloomed, the berries ripened, and everyone in the village was filled with joy. From that day forward, Whisper was no longer just a tiny creature. He was the guardian of the village, always watching over it, always ensuring it was filled with love and light. And whenever the villagers felt worried or scared, they knew they could turn to Whisper, their tiny guardian, and everything would be all right. And so, the village flourished, and Whisper continued to live in his tiny home, content in the knowledge that he had made a difference. The end.